Hi, welcome to the Quick City Workshop. My name is Christoph, and in today's video I'm going to show you something regarding copper work. I had this client that required me to remake a part that was no longer in existence. It got lost when they renovated the house, and I had to recreate the part from old photographs. So what I did is I drew out a template and I used a piece of copper similar to this. This is a small piece that was left over, and there's a protective layer on top of it. So I left that on and I retraced the pattern on the back side, and then I just created some tools for me. So I'm going to show you quickly the tools that I made to make this. So first of all, you need a piece of rubber. This is a piece of conveyor belt. So any piece of rubber will do. And then you can use old screwdrivers, old Allen keys, anything that's made out of a hard steel. This used to be a screwdriver. You can see the point there. I rounded it a bit, and that would create a little like that shape in the copper. This one is just rounded the edge. This used to be an Allen key. This one is just a piece of steel that was heated and flattened, and I curved it a little bit just to create a little bit of a curve, and always also rounded everything, no sharp edges. This one I made just using a bolt, one of those carriage bolts, and I just grounded all the surface a little bit so that it's smooth. So that will give me a nice big dome. This was a rivet from a big hinge. I just polished that side a little bit, so I've got that shape. Another Allen key that I grounded up to create a small round shape, and then this one I just used the same diameter as the piece of steel, and I just rounded it. So then I also used a piece of bearing that I heated up, bent over, welded a little bit to create this. This is hard steel. You can see that shape. And some offcuts of the bearing, made this V-shaped tool. So whatever shape you need, it's possible to make up your own tools. And then this piece of pipe, it is used with this, together with this, to make a nice a defined ending of the dome. So if I put this way around and I hit it with a hammer on this side, it will give the dome definition. And then you can use a nice heavy hammer. And then I'm just going to show you a little bit of what it actually looks like when you hit the copper like this. So there we've got the piece of copper, and if I use, for example, one of these tools, this small roundy one, and I hit it on the piece of rubber, it will make that a little knob. So if I use this one, this round semicircle flat one, I just move it along. You can see there's this, and if you're very careful, you can actually get it nice and smooth. There's a line forming like that. Now, using a combination of all these, if you want this to be defined more, you can go on the other side with the same tool and just lightly knock it back. And there you can see that that's more defined now. And after doing that and polishing a little bit and aging it, you can make amazing things using this method. Copper is soft, it's easy to work with, and here you can see I made a hammered finish. From this side it looks like this, from the other side it looks like that. I'm sure you've seen something similar to this before. And notice how the whole piece of copper curved out like that. So that's also something that happens naturally. You must keep it in mind. Sometimes it would be necessary to clamp the whole piece of copper in a frame so that you don't distort the whole thing. And you can always, if you want it flat after it's been like that, you can just take this piece like that and use a rubber hammer and hammer it back. It will go flat again. It's more flat now, but all that detail stayed. So let's make a nice dome shape using this big one. I'm gonna use it this way around, putting that on that side, like that. See what happens there? You can see it's defined there. It looks like a rivet, but because I'm so close to the edge of the material, it does that. So to make things like this nicely, you always have to have more material available, or like I said, clamp it in a frame. But there's endless possibilities of this method, and copper is very easy to work with. You'll also find if you work with the copper in this way, it will become hard, like work hard. And to solve this, all you do is you take a flame, you heat it up again, and it cools down and it's soft again, and then you can work further on it. But I like to have it go work hard because that creates a stronger part at the end. Let me show you this little V-shaped tool, what it did. Sometimes it's necessary to hit it a couple of times and to turn it around. So there you can see it made that V shape in the material. And using combination of these things, you can create patterns and pictures. And if you draw out your design on the back of your material and you follow that design, you can also to make that more smooth, you can run it like this. You take your tool and give it short and just run it back and forth. And that will smoothen out that part of your design. You can also, after you've done a dome like that, you can invert the dome with a smaller dome back. Create something like that. The thing is, always have a piece of scrap to experiment what you want to do, especially if you want to create a large part. So let's go over to some photos of the results of this process. And I hope you've learned something, and I hope you enjoy working with copper. So I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something, and maybe it's something that you are interested in. Please subscribe and hit that like button and add some comments. What's your thoughts? And I would also appreciate some suggestions for future videos. Keep well and see you next week.